आप इधर आ जाओ.
अच्छा ना इधर आ जाओ.
Wherever you want to, you comfortable. You want the speaker, you want the guest, you want the everything.
Yeah. Yeah. She is a speaker resource person. Very good afternoon to all of you. And participants who have joined us online. Respected Member Secretary Sir, as you know that today we are going to have a lecture in our monthly lecture series. I believe Dr. Saha must have apprised you, sir, that we have started a monthly lecture series on various topics or 28th, more than 2 years. Yes, we had celebrated that day. It's 2 years of completion. So in these 28 months, we had many interesting lectures on different topics, right from ranging to waste management to other things and very monitoring, construction, and on various topics, biomonitoring and biodiversity, so many topics by learned resource persons, including professors from IIT, NIT, and of course some specialists from service like state and central pollution control boards and all. So in this series, today we are going to have 28, and I am very excited and feeling very satisfied that one of our young colleague is the resource person for today. So we had in-house presentations also, even myself and Chandrasekhar sir and few of my senior colleagues have presented on various occasions. And we always encourage our young colleagues to come forward. Chairman sir ने सर कई बार बच्चों को encourage किया है कि भाई आप कुछ research paper, and he extended promised to extend all helps कि आपको इसमें पढ़ने में आगे इसके लिए कोई भी जरूरत हो तो हम लोग करते हैं. तो वाकई में मुझे बहुत खुशी है कि रचना is our resource person for today's lecture. So with these introductory words, sir, I just invite you for the welcome address. आगे फिर मैं चर्चा करूँगा. तो
It's great feeling to note that such kind of lecture series is being organized at Bihar State Pollution Control Board. It's really inspiring for me also, because I was once upon a time myself a junior research fellow and a senior research fellow. Then I have worked as agriculture research scientist also for few months. So I have seen the era of what I was doing in lab and the commitment. I was also associated with a very renowned and 200-year-old institution, that is IVRI at Izzat Nagar, Bareilly. So, remembering that era, now at your stage, I am looking at the youngster, the zeal, the enthusiasm, the energy level. That is unique. And you should tap every moment of this, because down the line after 5 to 6 years, the situations will be different. So you have to give 100%. This topic I was looking, Wetland and Ecosystem Services. And just few minutes before coming here, I was going through that Government of Bihar Forest Department is making health card for all the wetlands in Bihar. Or seeing the importance of wetland, we have a wetland division at the state level in Government of Bihar. Yesterday, I was at a climate finance summit, and at the highest level, at the level of uh, different department, additional chief secretary, sir, it was discussed that wetland, the natural inlet and outlet of the wetland has been disturbed. Whether it is Kawar Jheel, Bogabhil Jheel, so it has been disturbed, and wetland or any ocean body, water body is a great carbon sequestrator. They are the in-house store of carbon. Because when we plant tree, it takes time. It takes time to store the carbon, and after a certain point of time, it is always in argument that carbon is released back. So, in the most densely populated state of India, where population we cannot extend wetland, or we have limitation due to we need to meet the food requirement of almost 14 crore population. Wetland, day by day it is getting very limited size also. So how to tap the naturally available wetland in Bihar as a carbon sequestration mechanism? So this very important and relevant topic as of today, I would like to invite our guest speaker, Dr. Rachna Singh from Bihar State Pollution Control Board, to please enlighten us on this topic. Thank you.
Chalo. You want to introduce? Briefly for the information.
थैंक यू सर। और जैसा कि सर ने बताया, और कि why this topic is important for all of us today. As since we all are working in this field, and we all are the students of this field, you know that wetlands are very important for environmental conservation as for human and health and everything. They play a very important role in purification of water, conservation of biodiversity, so many things. सर ने भी अभी कहा कार्बन सिक्वेस्ट्रेशन की बात, तो ये इनका बहुत बड़ा रोल है, इतना इम्पोर्टेंट ये इकोसिस्टम है। लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली हमारा ध्यान खास करके स्टेट में इसके तरफ उतना नहीं गया है, इसके कंजर्वेशन के लिए। और जैसा कि सर भी बता रहे थे, यस्टरडे इन द मीटिंग, जब हम लोग थे वहां पे इसकी चर्चा हो रही थी, और it has been shared कि in many of the wetlands उनके इनलेट और आउटलेट भी बंद हो गए। अब सोचिए वो इनलेट और आउटलेट बंद हो गया तो उस वेटलैंड में क्या बचेगा, है ना। और they are exposed to pollution also, contamination also, resulting to loss of habitat even, and most importantly encroachment also. कांवर लेक की सर बात कर रहे थे, कांवर लेक का एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा देखिए जाकर इनक्रोचमेंट का शिकार हुआ है ना। तो इसलिए बहुत जरूरी है इसके ऊपर एफर्ट डालने की, और स्टेट इज वर्किंग ऑन दैट। वी हैव अ डिवीजन with the environment and forest department. We are working together also. The board is assisting in estimation of water quality of all these wetlands that we are working. Dr. Barik, I think he has joined online also. So a team, or we have a joint team, or whatever. So we are working together for the restoration. So it is very nice that Rachna has chosen this very important topic. और जैसा कि मैंने पहले भी कहा आपको कि मेरे लिए भी पर्सनली भी आई एम फीलिंग वेरी एक्साइटेड दैट एट लास्ट आवर नेक्स्ट जनरेशन इज कमिंग अप। बहुत दिन से हम लोग प्रयास कर रहे थे कि भाई आप लोग भी कुछ करो, और इसी तरह से यू प्रिपेयर रिसर्च पेपर्स आल्सो, वी विल आल्सो कंट्रीब्यूट, है ना, गेट इट पब्लिश्ड एंड ऑल। सो रियली इट गिव्स मी इमेंस pleasure to introduce your friend and colleague to you all. As you all know, she is a master's and again PhD from Central University of South Bihar, or had been a student of our friends and
Pradhan sir, with whom we are having an MOU also.
right. So, and she has before coming to this board, she had some experiences as a intern with UNDP project, and she has very successfully completed so many dissertation and published papers also. Very good. I think there is no need to go to the titles and all of all these papers, but I could see some very interesting papers in good journals has been published by her. And I feel it is a privilege of the board to have a young scientist with us like Rachna. So
She is also DST inspired.
yes, yes. So really, so she has many achievements to added to her cap, as you all know, and many of you are also UGC NET fellow and a fellowship from DST Inspire program. है ना? Yeah, right. And Inspire तो program जो चलता है वो उसमें भी हम कभी रहे हैं Inspire program में. And she is also a gold medalist of her university. So I invite you, and we all are very excited to hear you. So the floor is now open for you. So let us give a big hand for her.
Where you from? Where were you comfortable?
बैठ के बोलो आराम से.
Not in this time or you can change this time.
यहाँ से बोलो.
बहुत ही ये अनटच्ड फील्ड है
हाँ.
और फ्यूचर भी इसी का है, क्योंकि लैंड रिसोर्सेस है उनका काफी लिमिट हो गया है. ठीक है, डायरेक्शंस आपको चुनना होगा जहाँ पे कम वर्क हो. ठीक है, सैचुरेटेड फील्ड्स में नहीं जाना है और ये बहुत ही प्रॉमिसिंग फील्ड्स है. वेटलैंड विल बी मैसिव स्टॉक आफ्टर जस्ट 2 to 3 years.
सर ने बहुत की वर्ड बोला है ना? आप लोग ध्यान दो. आप लोगों को कर रहे हैं
करियर
है ना? वो बहुत बड़ी
भीड़ में नहीं जाना है.
बहुत बहुत बड़ी चीज बोले हैं, तो इस चीज को आप लोग ध्यान दो.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Dr. Rachna Singh, and the topic of interaction is wetlands.
Sir, yes.
Wetlands and Ecosystem Services with special reference to carbon sequestration. Wetlands. Wetlands are the land areas that are saturated or flooded with water either permanently or seasonally. These are the ecosystems where water is the primary factor controlling the environment, plant, and animal life. As per Ramsar Convention, wetlands are the area of mass, fan, peatland, or water, whether natural or artificial, permanent or temporary, with water that is static or flowing, fresh, brackish, or salt, including the areas of marine water, the depth of which at low tides does not exceed 6 meters. Wetlands usually cover 6% of the Earth's land surface. Types of wetland.
कंफर्टेबल
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा आगे.
Types of wetlands. There are generally 3 types of wetlands. First, freshwater wetlands that includes river, lakes, ponds, pools, floodplains, peatlands, marshes, swamps, etc. The river floodplains, these are the lands that are adjacent to river or stream, which is subjected to periodic inundation by water overtopping the channel. Marshes. Wetlands are dominated by herbaceous plants. Swamps. These are the wetlands that are dominated by trees. Second, saltwater wetlands, which include coastal wetlands like estuaries, mudflats, saltwater marshes, mangroves, lagoons, coral reefs. Third, human-made wetlands that are the artificial wetlands, which are built for a purpose such as storing water for irrigation and drinking or for producing fish or recreation. Includes fish ponds, rice paddies, reservoirs, and salt pans. Next. Types of wetlands. These are the classification of wetlands according to Ramsar. There are 5 types of wetland: riverine wetlands that are along the rivers and streams, palustrine, marshy wetlands that include marshes, swamps, and bogs, lacustrine, wetlands associated with lakes, marine, coastal wetlands, estuarine wetlands that include deltas, tidal marshes, and mangrove swamps. Next. The relationship among the ecological components and processes. The whole wetland ecosystem comprises of the 3 things: components, processes, and ecosystem services. Components include physical components, biological components, and chemical components. And the processes are hydrological cycling, nutrient cycling, energy cycling, and the many other things. And the ecosystem services there are 4 ecosystem services all together form a wetland ecosystem. Next slide. Status of wetlands in India. As per National Wetlands Atlas, India has about 15.98 million hectares under wetlands, accounting for nearly about 4.86 of her geographical area. As per Wetlands Portal of India, India has 1307 wetlands in total, which includes 85 Ramsar sites and 113 significant wetlands. India has the largest network of Ramsar sites in South Asia. The figure represents the wetland types in India, whether there are 4 types of wetland categorization: natural inland, marine, man-made inland, natural coastal wetlands, and man-made coastal wetlands. Wetlands of Bihar. According to National Wetland Atlas 2021, wetlands cover about 4,03,209 hectares, considering about 3% of the state. In Bihar, there are 3 Ramsar sites: Kaban Lake in Begusarai, Nagi Bird Sanctuary in Jamui, Nakti Bird Sanctuary in Jamui. Both the 2 wetlands have been included as Ramsar sites in 2024. Yes. These are the latest data. 3 wetlands are under National Plan for Conservation of Aquatic Ecosystems, that is Kawan Tal in Begusarai, Kusesar Sthan Wetland in Darbhanga, Padela Lake in Vaishali. In compliance with the Wetland Conservation Rules 2017, Bihar Wetland Development Authority (BWDA) has been set up in Bihar, which includes the Environment, Forest, Climate Change Minister as the chairman, Development Commissioner to Government as the vice chairperson, and the chief conservative of forest, wetland, climate change, and member secretary. Next, ecosystem services. This is one of the burning issues which people have to understand. What are the ecosystem services? Ecosystem services are the benefits that we obtain from wetland. There are 4 types of ecosystem services: provisioning services, regulating services, cultural services, and supporting services. Provisioning services are the tangible services that we obtain from the wetland, like food, water, medicines, etc., etc. Regulating services. These are the services which includes the wetland processes that control climate, water, and the cultural services. Cultural services means the services that give you aesthetic values, like they include that includes like you can say aesthetic values like tourism, recreation activities, even education, whatever you study, that also comes in cultural services and the supporting services. The both all the three services are based on these supporting services, which includes the major processes occurring in the wetlands like nutrient cycling, photosynthesis. The ecosystem services provided by natural wetlands make up about 43.5% of the monetary value of all the natural biomes present. Next, importance of wetlands. As said earlier, there are the four important provisioning service. There are the four ecosystem services. Wetlands are important for water, food, livelihood, climate, culture, and biodiversity. Next, importance of wetlands. Only 2.5% on Earth is freshwater, where less than 1% of Earth's freshwater is accessible for direct human use. Where wetlands provide almost all our fresh water. Wetlands silt rich and plants naturally filter and store water. These are the filtering properties of wetland. Wetlands are also called Earth's kidneys due to their role in embankment of pollution. Next, healthy wetlands are essential for our ecological health. Whether better managing the world's wetland can help provide clean drinking water, dramatically reducing ill health and infant mortality. Areas of extreme poverty throughout the world often rely on wetlands for food. 95% of inland fisheries catch occurred in developing countries where it often play an important role. Source of 40% of world's fish protein comes from wetland. 70% of water withdrawals from world wetland are from agriculture. Wetlands offer services that promote many determination of good health, where it comes clean water, food security and nutrient variety, clean air, medicines, climate stabilization, protection against extreme weather. And one more term, aquaculture is also is in news. Aquaculture is the fastest growing food production sector in India. Next, importance of wetlands again, biodiversity. Wetlands are the hubs for the flora and fauna. About 40% of the world's plant and animal species breed or live on in wetlands. Greater than 1 lakh freshwater species are identified in wetlands. It is the home to 30% of known fish species, with 200 new freshwater species discovered each year. Wetlands are central to food security, whether fish, other food sources, and fresh water for crops and livestock. More than half of the world's population relies on wetland grown produces for their stable diet, where paddy is one of the major product. Next slide. Wetlands and the Sustainable Development Goals. Sustainable Development Goals, as we all know that it was UN's agenda to combat poverty, to save planet. There were 17 sustainable goals. Wetlands are one of the such ecosystem that meets all the 17 sustainable goals. Next slide. Wetlands as nature-based solution. First come, what is nature-based solution? These are the actions to protect, conserve, restore, sustainably use and manage nature for or modify terrestrial, freshwater, coastal and marine ecosystems, which address social, economic and environment challenges effectively and adaptively, while simultaneously providing human well-being, ecosystem services, resilience and biodiversity benefits. As a key element of NBS, wetlands play a crucial role in climate change mitigation and adaptation. They serve as an effective carbon sink and increase communities' reliance to the impacts of climate change through reduction of impacts from natural disasters, including floods, storms, and drought. Why wetlands is important? It is important for global diversity framework. it is important to meet sustainable development goals, and it is important for the most important to meet the points for Paris Agreement. Next. The process is that for what we say wetland is important to combat climate change. This is carbon sequestration. Carbon sequestration means the process by which the plants in wetlands sequester carbon in their parts and soil also. Next slide. Carbon sequestration in wetlands. The carbon is primarily stored in wetland soils, which are rich in organic matter, including partially decayed plant material that accumulate in the anaerobic or the oxygen-poor conditions typical of these waterlogged areas. As we all know that the plants get carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and they convert it into organic matter in terms of roots, leaves, and stems. When these plants die, decomposition occurs by microorganisms and they get accumulated as carbon. Over the time, this process continuously when it happens, there is a store of carbon. Thus, it is necessary preserving and restoration wetlands is a natural and potent strategy to fight against climate change. Next. Continue to it. Wetlands safeguard that the 60% of humanity along coastlines against storm surges, hurricanes, and tsunamis. The slide shows the animation shows coral reefs, mangrove. The slide shows about the mangroves, how they protect from the storm surges. Up to 15 million gallons of flood water are absorbed by each acre of inland wetland, therefore helping to slow down and lessen flood. It means it is focused on flood mitigation. Coastal wetlands flooded regularly by tidal water sequester and store carbon up to 55% faster than tropical rainforest. Wetlands carbon stocks ranges from 520 to 710 beta-gram carbon, and it is about 1792 to 8082 beta-gram carbon with permafrost and carbon globally. Peatlands, the concept of peatlands. Peatlands are the types of wetlands where slow biodecomposition, these are present in cold areas where slow decomposition of organic waste occurs, and finally it happens to the accumulation of carbon in soils. Peatlands cover only 3% of global land, but store about 30% of land-based carbon, about 550 gigatons, twice the amount of the world's forest. These are the mechanism of peatlands. Next slide. Back. Next slide. The slide shows the carbon storage in different terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, where wetlands play an important major role. These are the distributions of global carbon storage in vegetation and soil, where wetlands, so 63, the unit has been written lower. Next slide. Yeah, these are the terms which are one of the important things. There is a concept of teal carbon and blue carbon. Teal carbon is I think it is one of the most recent topic. Teal carbon is the carbon stored in inland freshwater wetlands such as marshes, lakes, rivers, and peatlands. First, this time a recent study for teal carbon has been conducted in Kyoladev National Park, Bharatpur, Rajasthan. Yes, and there is a estimation that global teal carbon stock is about 500 pentagram carbon. Next, blue carbon. Blue carbon is the carbon captured from the atmosphere and stored in the marine and coastal ecosystems, including seagrass, meadows, mangroves, and tidal marshes. And here comes the question, why teal carbon is important and why blue carbon is important. Steel carbon is important as they provide different ecosystem services like water purification, flood mitigation, groundwater recharge, carbon storage, and sequestration. And blue carbon, same are the ecosystem services. Apart from that, they protect coastline from storm surges, erosion, and rising sea levels. And backslide. These both concepts mean steel carbon and blue carbon are based on the types of wetlands, and because India is determined for zero net target criticals, so these both wetlands types of wetland are important. Next. Wetland loss and degradation. Apart from all the ecosystem services provided by the wetlands are declining. 35% of world's wetlands have been lost since 1970. Wetlands are disappearing 3 times faster than the forest. Wetlands dependent plants, species, and animals are high risk of extinction. Human well-being, livelihood, and the health of the planet is threatened. 1 in 3 freshwater species and 25% of all the wetland species face extinction from wetland decline. 81% of inland water species and 36% of coastal and marine species have declined in last 50 years. The graph shows the same. Next. Backslide. The picture shows what are the major factors for the degradation of wetland. Here shows there are the global issues with respect to there are two major factors, including the degradation causing for the degradation that are the direct drivers and the indirect drivers. Both the drivers are causing the loss of biodiversity of wetlands. Next. Drivers of wetland loss and degradation. Ramsar has pointed out 2 major drivers of wetland loss and degradation, that are the direct drivers, and the second is the indirect drivers. What are the direct drivers? Direct drivers means physical regime, which include when the wetland is disturbed for the like the sir says, the inlet and the outlet flow was disturbed. It is called the physical regime, disturbance in physical regime. Even the temperature or blocking of wetland, where it disrupts the flow of water in wetlands. Second, draining and infilling, over extraction of resources, structural buildup, introduction of nutrients, chemicals, that means pollution, and indirect drivers, climate change, water energy sector. Here, water energy sector means the construction of big dams, hydropower projects, which actually causes the loss of habitat, tourism, food fiber, and the most important among the all, the social ignorance. In India, especially in Bihar, we consider wetlands as wasteland. That is the major issue, and we get either we pollute them or we just fill up for our construction purposes. So the major, according to me, is the social ignorance. Next. World conservation, global. As we all know, wetlands are important, but for the conservation of wetlands, there were certain steps at global level and national level for the conservation of wetland. That for which Ramsar Convention was very much prior. It was the prior convention for the conservation of wetlands. In the year 1971, on 2nd February, an international conference on conservation of wetlands of international importance, especially known as waterfall habitat, was held in Iran in 1971. Convocation was popularly known as Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, and the wetlands protected under the convention is known as a Ramsar site. A site is called as a Ramsar site if it meets at least one of the 9 criteria that is prescribed by the convention, which is placed in 2 major groups. The 2 major groups are: Group A represents the sites with respective representative or unique wetland types. Group 2 represents unique biodiversity.
The UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration 2021 or to 2030 is a call for protection and revival of ecosystems and ecosystems around the world for the benefit of people and nature. And for Ramsar, the theme was to wetlands and human being for 2024. Next, wetland conservation in India. In India, it was not a very recent, very old topic for the wetland conservation. Our constitution says there is in Article 51A that the government and the people is responsible for the conservation of environment. Then there were several acts which were passed, but it included wetlands not directly. There were some points whether they considered wetlands where the acts were Wildlife Protection Act 1972, Indian Forest Act, and so on. Then India became a signatory to Ramsar in 1981. Then there was National Wetland Conservation Program in 1986. Then National Lake Conservation Program in 2001. Then Wetland Conservation and Management Rules WCMR in 2010. Then it was National Plan for Conservation of Aquatic Ecosystem NPCA in 2015. The major one was Wetlands Conservation and Management Rules 2017, which we are now governed by the same rule. Then there were several steps like Indian National Wildlife Action Plan 2017 and 2031, which also focus on conservation of wetlands for protection of wildlife. Then there was a website or portal launched by Ministry, Wetlands Portal of India. It includes all the information related to wetlands in India. Then there is Mission Sabhyata, which was conducted in Sabhagita in 2022. Then the Mission Lifestyle for Environment, Life and Amrit Dharohar in 2023. Like Amrit Dharohar is doing protecting the Ramsar sites along with the promotion of ecotourism in these areas. Then the National Action Plan on Climate Change and Green India missions. Next, carbon credit. In the field of climate change and climate mitigation, we all are aware that the wetlands sequester carbon. But there are many steps to conserve wetlands like policy making, governance, but a new term is there, carbon credit. What is carbon credit? Carbon credit are tradable permits that allow a holder to emit a certain amount of carbon or other greenhouse gases emissions. It is a key component of national and international government and private sector climate programs, notably carbon offsetting schemes. Carbon offset credits are awarded to projects that reduce or sequester carbon emissions in the atmosphere, such as wetland restoration. And the term carbon credit. Here, one carbon credit is equivalent to the removal of 1 ton of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Each credit stands for 1 ton of carbon equivalent avoided, reduced, or removed or sequestered. With some of the highest per acre rates for carbon storage among natural habitats, wetlands serve as invaluable carbon sinks. Through cost share programs and tax incentives, they can receive payment for conservation practices and help cover the cost of maintaining the wetland area. Next slide. Why carbon markets? Carbon markets offer a unique opportunity to channel domestic and international investments into wetland conservation programs. There are the two markets. There is regulatory market, and one is voluntary market. Regulatory market. In the regulatory market, projects operating under United Nations means UNCC approved credit accounting mechanism that generate certified emissions reduction CER carbon credits. Then voluntary market. Project may work under several independent international or national credit accounting standards and generate verified emissions reduction, that is VRs. Then what is the role of wetland? Here, nature-based solutions or nature climate solutions, including pit and coastal wetlands conservation restoration could generate up to 12 billion ton carbon equivalent in mitigation benefits per year. This level of supply large meets current expectations concerning in demand from voluntary carbon markets, that is 1.5 to 2 billion carbon equivalent. And the terms is repeating carbon equivalent. What is carbon equivalent? Carbon equivalent means the emissions that the whole 7 greenhouse gases do to the one, it is equivalent to the all the 7 greenhouse gases emissions to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. Average prices per credit have remained low, lowering covering barely.
Quantified in the term of CO2.
Yes, sir.
Even if the methane is to take.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Means all the 7 greenhouse gases, that is methane, NO2, CFC, HFCs, and other greenhouse gases. Next. Back. These carbon markets are new. As if a term I have not included, but there is a term ecosystem services evaluation. This happens when yes, wetland ecosystem services valuation. Whenever we value a ecosystem, it means they get values and people start respecting them. For example, if you know if, the food that we are getting from wetlands, we are taking it free, but we are giving no price. So it is very much accessible to us and we over extract them. But when we know the food that we get from wetlands, like medicine or what, they have some price, people start protecting them or less using them. And same is the case with carbon marketing. This is nothing but the whole economics. If we conserve wetlands, we will get carbon credit. These are in dollars. People conserve it. Next. References and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. A big hand for the informative talk.
Very
That
informative.
very informative, which Rashna has already given. Now, if you have any questions or
Also component.
so many miles.
Hello,
Yes.
good afternoon, sir. Myself, Dr. S.K. Barik.
Yes.
Basically, it is very nice presentation given by Dr. Achanna ji. Basically, he have given the background of the wetlands and what is the function of wetlands and also the government government like government organization structure like that. But one thing, Dr. Achanna ji, I think you are working on carbon sequestration study. You have done your PhD in this subject. Have you done? Sorry. The
Yes,
PhD
so I have the PhD in environmental science. My topic was nutrient dynamics and ecosystem services assessment in Kusisarasthan wetland, Bihar.
Yeah. Because in Bihar only recently Ministry of studied carbon sequestration study of Kabatal Ramsar site, but that is not shared with us. But recently also we 2 more Ramsar sites are declared Nagi Nakti in Jamui. Ministry have some responsibility to do with it, but we have to want to do some in-house carbon sequestration study in Bihar. But
Yes,
in the like, I think in Central University of Bihar is doing in this field, carbon sequestration study of wetlands. So if any support from Central University of Bihar can available for carbon sequestration study in Bihar or wetlands in Bihar, it will be fruitful because there is no vigorous study in carbon sequestration in wetlands in Bihar. At least we have to cover the Ramsar site. Recently also we proposed 3 Ramsar sites. In next year it will be in Bihar total 6 Ramsar sites will be achieved by Bihar. So in this line it will be better to focus you have any knowledge in this field and any supports you can say you can take with the permissions of Best State Woodland Authority will be support to you and will jointly can conduct the study.
Yes, Barik sir, you
Yeah.
are most welcome.
Sir,
और
sir,
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, we will work together. If
sir,
any
sir,
information and support is required from CUSB,
sir,
Rashna is here and we are also with you. No
sir,
issues.
sir, sir, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
और कोई पार्टिसिपेंट्स जो हमारे साथ ऑनलाइन जुड़े हैं या ऑफलाइन? यस प्लीज।
पहले वो हो जाए
ठीक ठीक है।
अनुश्री, डॉक्टर अनुश्री,
Yes, sir.
could you please
Yes, sir.
also?
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, I'm also, I have also done my research. PhD just submitted in terms of wetlands, conservation of wetlands, and I have done it in conservation of wetlands through traditional knowledge systems. It's all directly related to the how people are engaged in it and how they can be used for wetland conservation. So, I mean, while doing this, I have done some study in Gokul of wetland in Bihar, Buxar district. So, I was wondering how the carbon sequestration, and the same question with the Barik sir. So, I haven't come across any the calculation measures of the carbon sequestration potential of wetlands of Bihar. So, how could it be done? What could be the process in it, if you can highlight? Because I am from National Institute of Technology, Patna, and along with us, many of the research scholars and our faculties are doing research in this segment. So I would like to know how we would, how to proceed. As you have said that economic TIV, as per the TIV, the economic analysis of biodiversity, the economic analysis, carbon sequestration can be calculated, and how it can be calculated. That's my question regarding your topic. If we consider any wetland of Bihar.
Yeah, ma'am, we
Because the
can,
physical dimensions are very different over here, and along with our research materials outside India or other states. Please, ma'am.
there are two major processes, one remote sensing data or second the field data. As we have mentioned that the wetlands, the carbon is stored in soil or the plants, we can calculate it in laboratory by doing samples in sampling of soils and plants, then estimating the whole area, and there is a formula of calculating carbon sequestration. The formula for carbon sequestration can be calculated for the same, but the process is that we have to conduct study for the soil analysis, soil organic carbon, soil total carbon in laboratory. Apart from that, we have to conduct all the apart from the surface sediments, we have to conduct a study in course. In my PhD work, I have undergone through both the processes. I have not published the data yet, but I have worked on it. And the process is easy to calculate, but the problem is that to delineate the wetland and the area is difficult. The major issue is that. And the people are.
Yes.
And the problem is that in Bihar, even in my university, I have also faced some certain lab equipment lacking. There was a lack of I had gone through NIH Roorkee and other platforms where there were certain instruments that were able to take water samples very deep from the from various
soil
depths.
inside. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even the water and soil profile. But in Bihar, there are lack of certain equipments.
Yeah, that's why I got many very less limited research papers on this segment, because while I was doing it, that was a concern of doing, because conservation is only directly, proportionate to the what is the economic value of that wetland, economic wetland services of that wetland. So that is, and carbon sequestration nowadays in this time of climate change, carbon sequestration is the main concern, I think. So that was, I was not getting any clue of this, and that's it. Thank you for your answer.
Thank you. Yes.
I have a very simple question that as we were discussing about carbon credit, so can we use life cycle assessment for evaluating any like carbon credit of a particular region or particular system?
Actually, the key carbon credit, whatever when we study, it is all about the emissions, global greenhouse gases emissions. If you are saying that we have to focus on life assessment, they are the two different things. Okay, they are the different things. So we have to calculate it like measuring the other GHGs with respect to carbon, and the process is different.
It is a fiscal mechanism.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
The how much tons of carbon
It's
you have
getting released in the
released in
atmosphere.
the atmosphere. If you are not able to,
So, sir, does we consider the activities which are generating from industries or?
Activities.
yes, yes,
sorry.
but something new should be done.
Thank you.
Business as usual will not be considered for carbon credit. If something new is done, which is lessening the carbon emission, then yes, one can
Sir, even there is a new
claim carbon credit.
idea that if you have certain chores, you can also many in villages there are certain chores also that is wetland. You can consider, you can make it, you can restore it, and can effectively buy carbon, sell carbon credits
Yes,
for
yes.
that, because the government is planning for the same. This is also whether carbon credit is not new. It was very I can say old concept, 10 to 20 years old concept, but it was limited to the emissions that were doing by industries or that one. But this is now people, government is focusing on why not, if we are restoring wetlands as it sequesters carbon dioxide, why not? It is also reducing the carbon, the pollution levels. So we can also buy or sell it. This is the new concept for that,
Yes.
for wetlands.
Since 2008, at least, I am hearing this term, carbon credit, and it's a trading unit.
Yes, sir.
And suppose that if my state of Bihar is conserving the wetland, I told you earlier that we have created a separate,
Sir.
we have created a separate cell at the headquarter level in the forest department of wetland conservation. And wetland health card is now in progress. By the end of November, we will be having the wetland health card of all the major wetlands in Bihar. So we can claim that we have restricted the development, we have conserved the wetlands, and we have to prove that how with our research paper or statistical analysis, that how it is sequestering the carbon. Then we can claim that yes, government of Bihar can, or the climate change wing can go for, wetland wing can go for carbon trading. But we have to be very logical in our statistics, because most of the research in India fails in the analyzing of data, in the what statistical analysis we are doing. We are we write very much very fine handwriting, and everything contents are very good, but analysis, and that is we need to prove. It is a trade. We will have a position. We will have questions. So to overcome that, we can succeed only by our statistical tool analysis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. In fact, this carbon credit system came after the Kyoto Protocol. It was an agreement between the development Annex 1 parties and Annex B parties. So 2-3 term, if I remember right, earlier it used to be a CDM project, Clean Development
Yes, clean
Mechanism.
Yes.
It then joint emission trading.
Yes.
तो वो सब different
ये और सारी इंडस्ट्री
तो वो एक ग्लोबल एग्रीमेंट था और उसी के हिसाब से वो चलता है अभी फिर वो पेरिस एग्रीमेंट के बाद ये फिर वो लाइव हुआ बीच में थोड़ा डाउन हो गया तो we had a very lively discussion. So if no questions are further, no questions are there. Let us give a big hand to Rachna. And I would request Member Secretary Sir to please present memento to Rachna.
फोटो ले लीजिएगा आप लोग का तो इधर ही है
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So generally, we used to declare the legislation 29th Shagrik Day. Professor I. We requested him to mitigation of air pollution through this control of dispersed sources of hotspot survey mitigation and the effectiveness of the emissions. Sensor analysis. His case studies will be supporting one in Kolkata, one in Delhi. And if the same can be implemented for Patna, we will demonstrate.
हम लोग क्या भी तो जो
Yes, yes. He is also a principal investigator one of our project long back. Alok ji के जमाने में किया था. So just we have requested, not yet formalized because so Sharmik Dekho when I approached him, he has said yes. So but he has not yet communicated. अभी मैंने सुबह भी message भेजा था. Otherwise, generally we declare that at 1 month in advance.
जो भी लेक्चर सीरीज है काफी अच्छा है और हम लोग उसको कस्टमाइज करें कि हमारा नीड क्या है.
हाँ
पर क्लाइमेट चेंज जो टॉपिक और क्लाइमेट जो टॉपिक है तब इट्स एंडलेस.
so anything is related with climate.
Anyone
Sir, लेकिन I personally hope one thing. I would be happier अगर कोई आप में से वॉलंटियर करे अगला प्रेजेंटेशन के लिए है ना. अगर कोई नहीं होगा तब हम सागनिक साहब से बात करना प्रेफर करेंगे. अगर
लॉटरी सिस्टम कर दीजिए जिसका आ जाएगा.
anyway, so
We'll decide that festival भी होगा. So convey thanks and don't like the
It was very enlightening and fact-based presentation. The content was very much remarkable and up to the point. And really, I congratulate and thank you, Dr. Rachna, for your hard work and your inputs. And it was a great presentation and it was up to the mark. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you all.
Thank you, sir.